Once again, folks, I'm Tom Downey. Alongside me is Mitchell Renz. We're going to go through now the NFL draft needs for each and every single team in the NFL. We're going to start here in the AFC East. By the way, we'll go alphabetical so you know what's coming up in terms of that. So we'll begin with the Buffalo Bills. And Mitch, I'm very intrigued by what the Bills have done this offseason because they signed all kinds of guys. They were super aggressive, especially on the offensive line.
Well, it's one of the areas that they needed, but also you need to be able to protect your most important asset, which I can't believe I'm going to say is Josh Allen right now, but
that's the proper thing to say.
It's the proper thing to say, but they need wide receiver help. They need a lot of offensive help. I mean, I just think that's reasonable.
So the Bills were smart. They had a lot of glaring needs entering for the free agency in the offseason, and they signed guys at pretty much almost every single spot. So these are my top 5 needs, and I'll make a general note right now, and I'm sure we'll forget in 10 teams, but whatever. 6, 7 in terms of the needs are not that far behind 5. So we have 5 listed. There are, of course, other needs for every single NFL team. I'm looking at tight end, where they did sign Tyler Kroft. They also technically signed Jake Fisher, but that doesn't count really. I still think a guy like T.J. Hawkinson would be a fantastic fit for them if they want to go that route in round 1. I'm also looking on the defensive line, both the interior and on the edge. Trent Murphy didn't make a huge impact necessarily. Shaq Lawson, he might be a bust. Lorenzo Alexander's pretty old. They still have Jerry Hughes for now. Then on the interior of the defensive line, of course, you lost Kyle Williams to free agency. You did bring back Jordan Phillips. You have Harrison Phillips and Star Lotulelei. You might want one more impact guy, though. Star did not have a big impact for Buffalo in year 1. I like the Phillipses. Those aren't necessarily #1 guys. What do you think about Ed Oliver here?
I mean, Ed Oliver, do you really think he's going to slide all the way to 9?
Oh, I think there's a pretty good chance, yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't think the Giants take him at 6. I don't think the Jags take him at 7. I could see the Lions taking him at 8.
That would be
but I think there's a good chance he's on the board at number 9 for them.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I think the Bills need to address the offense. They have one of the worst offenses in the NFL, and when you're going to build around a young quarterback, a great way to do that. I think DK Metcalf would be a lot of fun here with the Bills. A quarterback who can really bomb the ball down the fairway like a Josh Allen.
He would be fun. And I think for Buffalo, I don't see a legit #1 receiver. I see a lot of 2s and 3s.
I see a number 2 receiver.
I see a lot of 2s and 3s. I think Zay Jones can be your number 2. I think John Brown, Cole Beasley can be your number 2 or your number 3.
Oh, that's right. John Brown's there.
Foster's there as well, so that's kind of what I say for Buffalo. And then also offensive line, they added a lot of players, but you can still go find one more starter. Let's move then to the Miami Dolphins. Mitch, they're tanking.
You can't say tanking. They're just
tanking.
They're in rebuild mode. You can't say
tanking.
I mean, when you go out and get Ryan Fitzpatrick, obviously you're not tanking, right? Now, I like Fitzmagic a little bit, but at the end of the day, I mean, the GM came out and said literally just a few days ago, we're going to build from the ground up. This is going to be one of those teams that's going to look to get as many picks as humanly possible, I think, in this draft.
And for 2020 especially.
And for 2020, and we know they need a quarterback, but I don't really think they take a quarterback in this draft.
I'm not sure they're actually going to go the quarterback route in round 1. I think they might be better off waiting for 2019 or for 2020 or even 2021 if they really want to make sure that they get Trevor Lawrence. Now, I think edge is an obvious need for them, and so too is the entire offensive line.
And the team.
I mean, you're going into next year with, you have Laramie Tunsil, you're in good shape there. You cut Josh Sitton, you lost Ted Larson, that leaves Jesse Davis as your #1 guard. Maybe you kick Daniel Kilgore into guard. You need offensive line help, and that's going to be why they don't want to go quarterback. That quarterback will take a beating in year 1 if they don't drastically upgrade on the offensive line.
And also, I don't really know if this is the quarterback draft class that you really want to invest high in. I mean, I think
especially with where they're sitting in the teens. Tough to go get the premier guy. So
I think they should tank for Tua.
All right, that's fine. All right, King Keith doing it right using #Dolphins. Do you think Drew Lock will start instantly if he gets drafted by the Dolphins? I do like the Dolphins emoji there.
Do I think he starts instantly? Probably. Yeah, that's the way the NFL draft, the way the NFL is starting to go. Like, I like Fitzpatrick. I think he's, well, Fitz, when he's supposed to start, is terrible.
It's the cycle of Fitzpatrick. You start here with a starter, it's bad. He gets cut, gets benched, then he's your backup, and he's a good backup. Then he gets pressed into duty, and he plays really, really well, and then he's the full-time starter, and it's bad, and then he gets cut. It's the cycle of Fitzpatrick, and right now we're right back at he's starting now.
So he's going to be terrible.
He's going to be terrible.
Drew Lock, going to be a starter. Lock it in there.
Especially with a Dolphins team that's not in great shape to actually win a bunch of games this year. So Dolphins, I think, in particular, the trenches are where they're going to be targeting this year in the NFL draft, which, good news, you'll be able to find some impact players there. Let's move then to the New England Patriots, and they've lost quite a bit, Mitch. Bunch of starters. Trey Flowers is gone, Trent Brown is gone, Malcolm Brown is gone, Gronk is gone. But they're the Patriots, right? They're going to be okay?
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why I still have money down on them to win the Super Bowl, to go to the Super Bowl, because as long as they have that one guy, what's his name?
Brady.
What's his
Who's
first
not
name?
going to be there forever? Tom, my name.
I don't know, man. At this point, I don't know if Tom Brady's ever going to retire.
At some point, they'll have to find somebody to replace Tom Brady. Technically, they already did it once because they had Jimmy G, and then they're like, oh, no, we don't need him. Brady's going to play for another 5 years. But in terms of this year's draft, they got a ton of picks. They've got 12 in total, and 6 in the first 101 selections. That's reserved for bad teams. Not for teams that just won a damn Super Bowl.
Not for teams that have gone to 9 of the last 11 AFC championships. Now, tight end we have there is their biggest need, and that's what happens when Gronk goes away. And I think all the tight ends right now on the Patriots roster combined, it's like 81 catches for like 3 touchdowns.
It's not even 81. It's bad. It's Ryan Izzo, Jacob Hollister, Matt Lacoste. Those are your top tight ends.
I'm pretty sure Lacoste is the shoes I have on.
It's okay. You're probably not wrong. But tight end's a big need there. Also, in terms of receivers, which is what kind of Zach brings up here, receiver tight end for me is a logical target, if not in round 1, at least probably multiple times on day 2 with all those picks.
I mean, we're going to be dropping down a video tomorrow about some potential NFL trades that could happen in the draft. One of the moves is the Patriots, we think, trading up and selecting a tight end. We won't tell you which tight end that is, but at the end of the day, you still need to build around Tom Brady, and this team is still in win-now mode. And the fact that they have, 6 in the top 101?
It's crazy.
That's scary.
So Belichick likes to wheel and deal. Maybe he moves up. I wouldn't be surprised if he dealt one of those picks for a future 2020 pick. That would be very Belichick-y in there, but that's a big need there for the Patriots. So I think those offensive skill guys, especially as you eventually build towards life without Brady, you're going to need better players around whoever you end up having.
I could never picture my life without Tom.
Okay, thank you, Mitch. Seth says, give us a thought on the AFL. I think he means AAF. RIP, that's disappointing. By the way, there's been buzz that the guy that bought into the AAF only did it to get the gambling app, and that he closed up shop on him. So lawsuits coming in the AAF.
What is the AAF? I'm kidding. No, I mean, who cares? All right, let's talk about the NFL.
All right, the New York Jets, they are next up here for our last AFC East team. Edge is the #1 focus for me. And good news is you'll probably be able to get Nick Bosa or Josh Allen or somebody else there because the Jets have been weird. They love to draft interior defensive linemen, which doesn't actually make much sense to me. They've done it repeatedly over the years. They don't have anyone that's actually going to bring pressure off the edge. You can fill that with Josh Allen at #3 overall.
But if you're the Jets, I understand Josh Allen's a great fit, but if you're the Jets and you're like, all right, we still have so many holes to fill.
But edge is by far your biggest. So you're filling your biggest need with a premier player.
Okay.
I mean, your other big needs, I think you could look for a cornerback, even though you did bring in Brian Poole. You got some questions on the outside with Claiborne maybe not coming back. Offensive tackle is a big need. Yeah. I think in terms of maybe not necessarily right now, but long term, beyond Kelvin Beachum and Brandon Shell, you could use a receiver, center too. Edge is your biggest need. You can fill it quickly.
I think your biggest need is protecting Sam Darnold, building that offensive line for Le'Veon Bell.
That's fair.
But what do we got from Angus?
Disagree there. All right, Angus B, first off, great name. You think they draft a quarterback, #Patriots. I think at some point, I don't know if it's going to be early, though. People like to mock a receiver at or a quarterback at #32 overall. I don't buy it.
If the Patriots drafted Daniel Jones, would you change your mind on him?
Yes, he'll be the greatest quarterback in NFL history. All right, Boston Sports, no surprise, a Patriots question. Do you think they'll draft A.J. Brown? I think that'd be a really good fit for New England. I don't know if they'll actually do it. I think he'd be a really good fit, though, in the Patriots offense. Mostly played big slot almost at Ole Miss, but I think for the NFL, you could play some outside, too.
Sounds good. All right, Charles, 81. I think the Dolphins or Bengals trade up. Tom, what says you?
The Bengals historically have not made moves up, but if someone like Dwayne Haskins starts to slide, I think it makes a little bit of sense. But for Miami, I think they're taking the long view here, and the long view isn't move up in round 1 this year.
Yep.
It's, if anything, trade down and acquire future picks.